Come on, little turtle bros. Gragore needs him some scoots. Hello there, and welcome back to Roguecraft. I'm out swimming around my makeshift trident farm, otherwise known as the beach in front of my house. You know, I've made a lot of jokes over the years about Torchman and my near obsession to place torches everywhere. But if you ever doubted me on that front, then just look at what happens to a simple little beachfront property above where I live. All the caves below and all around me are lit, and so every night there's a little party at the beach house as the drowned stop by to say hello. Not the most efficient drowned farm, of course, but it keeps everyone fully stocked on tridents, and it allows me to scratch that cave lighting itch I always seem to have. But the drowned quote-unquote farm aside, 120 was just released, which means I need to find a way to wrap things up on Season 4. So, seeing as I'm very, very far behind on my footage, this episode will be sort of a catch-all, a mishmash of things I did this season that, maybe they weren't big enough to fill an episode on their own, but were big enough for me to not want to skip them entirely. So, with that said, sit back, relax, and prepare for a bit of me jumping from one clip to another as I try and get things organized for the last few episodes of the season. So, every season, I do some bit of randomness around the world on the spur of the moment. I see something, an idea pops into my head, and I act on it. In that spirit, one day I was out flying around, updating the world map, when I noticed something on the map that tickled an itch in the back of my head, and I just needed to scratch it. When these things happen, I just go with it and see if it leads somewhere. Sometimes it turns into something big, like the Wandering Trader Island project last season. Sometimes it's just something silly, like a big sign that says cactus out in the middle of a desert, made out of cactus. Doesn't really mean anything, it's just silly. But there's no real reason for these things. I just had an idea and went with it. And sometimes these ideas, they just lead to nothing. This one falls somewhere in between, just a small bit of randomness that if anyone paid close attention to the map, they would have seen it. Otherwise, it's nothing special. It's just out there to be found. But it made me chuckle knowing it was out there. For the record, this is what I saw on that day. And this is what I did with it. Like I said, just a bit of randomness and silliness, which, I guess, is kind of what I'm all about. Just randomly silly. Just a massive mustachioed monster glaring up at you from the map. His little tooth sticking up over his bottom lip just makes it all the more silly. I don't know why, but it makes me chuckle. But it could just be one of those Gragore jokes that only a Gragore finds funny. Let me know what you think. And here you can see we're back at the skeleton farm, stress testing the server. I have the volume turned way down because, as you can see by the entity count in the upper left-hand corner, we have roughly 525 skeletons in the drop chute. As you can see, it's a little bit choppy at the moment, so I'm not sure how much further I can push this without the server just freezing up. Although, it should be said, I have taken this much further. There was that one time I went to bed and, forgot to break the vines out of the drop chute before going to bed, and well, I woke up hours later and had a near heart attack when I turned the speakers on. It sounded a little something like this. This is footage recorded after I logged back in and tried to kill all the skeletons. You can see me attempt to swing the sword, but all control is lost. I am not moving the mouse at all, not touching it at all. This is the third attempt at me trying to get rid of the skeletons. Sadly, no matter what I tried, it just kept freezing up. On a positive note, it was just a local effect. I do have a second Minecraft account, and I was able to log in just fine. The server acted as if nothing was going on, mainly because I was nowhere near the skeleton farm. Now, you might think this was because when I logged in, the server cleared all those skellies right out of the system because I was thousands of blocks away. But you would be wrong. I don't claim to know how the server handles these sorts of things, but when I logged out of my secondary account and back into Gragore, the skeletons were still there, and I still couldn't perform a single command. It was a memorable day for me, as I was very scared I had broken the server. Thankfully, when I logged back into the admin account and flew my way over to the skeleton farm, it eventually despawned all those skellies, and I was able to log back into the server at the farm. Sadly, the world will never know how many skeletons were there, or how many bones we would have gotten from them in 2 swings. That said, I can show you how many we get from 525. Let's take a look. Thankfully, just for moments like this, our server gives us access to a few utilities like the trash command to quickly get rid of all the garbage surrounding us. And there you have it. In 2 swings of the sword, we now have at least 20 more stacks of bones. No telling how many stacks fell into the hopper, but it couldn't have been more than 1 or 2. But 20 stacks in about an hour is not too bad. And that, my friends, is the power of the vine. Use it wisely. Come on, little turtle dudes. It's been 3 nights. Get born already. Oh, well, hello there. Don't mind me, I'm just laying TNT. Why you ask? No reason. No, does anyone really need a reason to place hundreds of TNT blocks? I mean, really? Had time been friendly this season, one of the things I would have shown you in the next few videos would have been the Nether Hub project, but apparently, time found it funnier to say, this season. But I hate to see all this go to waste, so sit back and enjoy a bit of gratuitous explosion. Be warned, it's gonna get loud. Who doesn't like a bit of wanton violence every now and then? I mean, beside those poor Ziglins who had no idea what was coming to them. Oh, I almost forgot. Back here in this little corner of the Skelly farm is a kiddie pool full of wonderful little water kitties. It may seem like an odd place for it, but since my time is so limited, I try to make the most of the time I do have in-game. So while I was AFKing for bone meal, I was also breeding water kitties for fun and profit. Although I don't know how much profit there was since I never did open a water kitty store, but you get the picture. Now I was mainly breeding the axolotls to get their heads, or, since that sounds so completely horrible, let's imagine instead that they drop little stuffed teddy bear versions of themselves, and that's what I was collecting. When breeding the water kitties, you have a 1 in 1,200 chance of getting a rare blue water kitty. Now, getting the baby blue wasn't the only goal. My hope was to open a stuffed animal shop where I sold all the rare stuffed animals I had collected from around the world. If I managed to get a blue water kitty, then that would be amazing too. So the journey to collect all the stuffed water kitties began. And it went. And it went. And it went. And you know, I wish there was a stat on the Minecraft statistics menu that would tell me how many tropical fish I collected, but sadly there isn't. But, it was a lot. But eventually, the wonderful day happened. Little baby Blue was born. Oh, just look how cute he is. He's so cute. He's so cute. He's so cute. I mean, cool. Baby Blue, yeah, cool. And what does one do with a baby blue water kitty? Why, they build them the best little spa and sauna relaxation grotto the little cuties have ever seen. That's what you do. As with everything I do, this was all going to lead to a GGG shop somewhere selling rare and exotic pets and all the little toy stuffed animal versions of themselves. For now, we'll just have to imagine what that would have looked like while the little boys and girls swim around to their heart's content. Here we join me waking up from an AFK session at the slime farm to find I have been meloned. This is what the AFK spot normally looks like. It's a very minimalist look. Maybe doesn't look quite as safe as it is. I mean, so long as I'm located under this one block, the phantoms won't spawn, and the fewer blocks you have above a farm, the better the rates are, or so say the people who know more about that kind of stuff. But back to the meloning. I suppose, looking back, there's two ways to look at this. Either someone was looking out for me and trying to make sure I was safe and encased in a cocoon of glass and melons, or I have been pranked and must have my revenge. Which view do you think I took? So I pranked the man behind the melons, Mr. Skelly Rocker, and filled his base with slime. He had recently asked me if I had any slime for sale, so I figured might as well kill two stones with one bird. An overreaction? Maybe, but it was fun. And Skelly was nice enough to return the excess slime to me. Then, for no reason other than I had been looking at banners on Planet Minecraft, I decided to surround Skelly's TARDIS with Weeping Angel banners. Which, then led to my base being filled with TARDIS banners. Sadly, I removed some of them before I turned the camera on, but you get the idea. It's all in good fun. I mean, what's the point in playing on a server if you can't have a little fun with your friends every now and then, right? Just always remember the unwritten golden prank rule, which is, Never do something to somebody else that you're not going to be willing to help clean up. And so, while I fill this random cave with chickens, for no reason at all, let me say thank you for watching. I know it was a bit of a different episode today, but sometimes it's nice to take all those bits of random that are just lying around and show a glimpse of what happens in between the projects. That said, I hope you enjoyed the video. I had fun making it. And as always, I have been Gragore, and this has been Rowcraft. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, always remember to try and find a way to make it fun. See ya. Well, it's about time, my little turtle friends. Now hurry up and get me some scoots.